A question I get very often is, why is it that I should not coach people I know well? After all, that's so much easier because my colleagues, my friends, my relatives, they know me, they trust me. So I don't have so much convincing to do. And that would be way much easier to coach them, right? Except that, first of all, it's not best practice. And I will really repeat it as much as needed. It is not a good idea, actually. It is actually best practices for any professional in the caring sector not to coach their loved ones. You know, if you go for a surgeon, they cannot operate and care for their own children, nor their relatives, and nor their loved one. And there are good reasons for that. So let's focus on coaching, and I'll give you 4 reasons why it's important you do not coach the people you know well and what to do instead. So let's focus on that. So the first is to respect their secret garden. Well, think about the time you were a teenager. Did you tell every single thing to your parents? Most people don't. And it's not that they don't love their parents. It's just that they have their area that is protected, that is really their own, and they want to keep private. Now, the thing is, in coaching, we often go to that private area without necessarily knowing in advance. So people may think that it's fine, I can have a kind of discussion with you, but they may not be ready to go into their secret garden with you. And in the coaching, if we happen to need to go there, you will then face a wall, and people will then try to avoid any coaching session with you or any more interaction, and you don't know why. And it really will be very detrimental to the coaching itself. People won't be able to go there. They feel treated, they feel threatened, that we need to go so deep, and they were not ready for that. So just for you to respect their secret garden, it's much better that you do not coach people you know. Give them that freedom, let them keep and nurture their own privacy. You also need to avoid conflict of loyalty. You know what? If during a coaching session, someone is telling you that they want to have a really difficult conversation with someone, and they want your help to have this conversation in a way that would be serene, or at least not too much of a conflict, fine, right? That can be your job as a coach. And you definitely can have the competence to help that person really frame it in a way that won't harm neither party. Now, if the critical conversation needs to happen because this person is your brother-in-law and he wants to say to his wife that he's cheating her and he wants to live with another person, well, you actually will be in a conflict of loyalty because you will know things about your brother-in-law that your sister better know, but that you are not allowed to tell because you are abiding to professional secrecy. And yet, when it comes out, it could well be that your sister can reproach you that you had known. Your brother-in-law can easily share that you have prepared that great conversation together. And so that places you in a conflict of loyalty towards your loved ones, as well as towards your professional duty of professional secrecy. I took an example on life coaching, but that can happen with executive coaching as well. You know, you can help a person because they need to fire someone who's not performing well. If that person who's not performing well is your has been their colleagues for the last 10 years, and you actually quite close to each other, that won't leave you indifferent and crystal clear and serene. You would be affected and you would not know what to do, what to think, and that will also impart the quality of your coaching and the quality of the question that you will ask. So don't put yourself into these very complex situations where it is really difficult to handle, even for really very experienced coaches. This one is a little bit tricky. You want to keep your enthusiasm. You know, if you have known someone for quite some time, you have seen them probably in different circumstances and facing great times and not so great times. So you would have a history of failing, a history of tensions, a history of not so great things. And that would impart your judgment. That would influence the way that you are confident or not in the ability to change, in the ability to succeed. And even if you really are trusting this person, you would still have this past in mind. Whereas if you are starting on a blank page with somebody completely new and they want to achieve something, you have no other options but to believe that, yes, they have everything they need and they will manage to get there with your help, because you have nothing else that could prove you wrong. So you can choose to be enthusiastic, to really believe, and to be really confident in this person. Now, your confidence is actually very helpful for this person to feel confident themselves too. Because they feel more confident based on your own confidence, they'll be more daring, they'll be trying out more, and they will succeed much better. So, because they will succeed and you will be proud of them succeeding, you will feel even more comfortable, even more enthusiastic, even more confident in them. And this is a virtuous circle that's happening. That kind of thing is not really happening that well, and really not to that extent with somebody you actually know well, because of the history that you have lived together. So give yourself permission to rely on that enthusiasm, to serve on that positivity that helps you to keep your enthusiasm, and that helps the coachee to get results quicker and at a much higher level. So it's about giving a chance to both of you. And the last one is about avoiding to strain your relationship. You know, it's about the freedom that you have in a relationship. For example, if 3 times in a row somebody has cancelled their coaching session at the last minute, I have complete peace of mind to tell them, you know, I no longer can coach you, because for me it's important that we are punctual and that we are committed to the coaching. So having these sessions cancel the last minute 3 times in a row is a sign for me that the level of commitment is not enough for what I need to work with you. And so I really prefer that we stop the relationship, the coaching here. If you want to work with somebody else, I'm happy to recommend you someone. And if you're not ready for coaching at that time, it's actually fine. But for me, that is the end of the story. Can you do that with your spouse? Will you divorce because someone that you've been living with for 20 years is not able to commit to 3 sessions in a row and cancel the last time? You just won't, right? So if you are in a relationship where it is actually important that they matter, that they remain steady on a long term, don't put additional pressure by coaching them. This is not the place to be. This is not the best way to support your loved one. We have different roles in our different relationship. If I am a coach and I help someone I don't know, I have that freedom to let them down if they're not ready, if they're not committed, if they're not doing the work, because it's actually useless for both parties. I'm also very comfortable to be daring and challenging and asking difficult questions. Because, you know, at the end of the day, if it's really needed that they suffer to get something from that suffer, it's actually fine. But if it's my own children, for example, I wouldn't be able to go there because it's just so unbearable to see them suffering. So I want to avoid straining the relationship that matters most to me. And I would recommend that you too don't put additional pressure on your relationship. So in that sense, coaching strangers is really much, much easier for them and for you. It is really best practice, and there are good reasons for that, not only to protect you and to protect your coachee, but also for the quality of coaching that you will give to them. So I would encourage you really to stay professional and caring, which means that there's an easy way for that. It's actually to refer your relative or your colleague or the person who matters to you to someone else. Recommend another coach so that later on they can work together if they are happy to work together. If they're not, then you can go for the next coach and not have another referral. It's okay if it doesn't work straight away. But really nurture a network of people you trust in these professional fields that you can recommend so that you are at peace, that your loved one are in good hands on what they want to work with in coaching, and that you will not harm them nor harm yourself in this journey. It's about really staying professional and caring to them and to you. So all the best. Keep searching for coaches that you don't know and build relationship within the coaching community so that you are surrounded by a network of trusted coaches that really will do their best to take care of your loved ones. Enjoy coaching.